Hey, I am Pete Thorn and welcome to my demo of the Suhr SL68 Amplifier. This amp came about when I mentioned to John one day that I was looking for a great late 60s plexi style amp. No bells and whistles, just a straight up old plexi. And he said, hey, I'll make you one. And I can't thank him enough because I'm just in love with this amp. It's fantastic. So late 60s plexi amps, they varied somewhat in circuit and whatnot. And this is John's version of what he thinks that they should have been, you know, all the time. So when you pull the chassis out and look at the inside, it's a sight to behold. It's all point-to-point hand-wired, and it's just absolutely bulletproof, and it's really gorgeous. So basically, it's a straight-up no frills, no master volume, no effects loop, nothing like that. You've got your presence, bass, middle, treble, and then volume 1 and volume 2 for the treble and bass channels, and 4 inputs, just like an old plexi. It does have one really cool, amazing feature though that I want to tell you about, which is a built-in Variac switch. So when the power switch is in the up position, the amp is actually variaced, and so the voltage is reduced and it's down to 90 volts. And the amp biases correctly for 90 volts. Hit the switch down to the all the way down position, and now we're at a full 120 volts, and the amp rebiases for 120 volts. So it's actually biasing the tubes on the fly. And when the switch is in the middle position, it's a three-way toggle, the amp's off. And so that allows you to really quickly switch between like a full power mode and a Variac 90 volt mode, like some of our favorite guitar players used to use. And it's a really incredible sound and makes the amp really versatile, lowers the volume a little bit, and you know, you can get a little bit different tone and whatnot. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to run you through a bunch of tones that you can get with this amp. It's great clean all the way through to dimed and just rip-roaring ballistic plexi distortion. So check it out. Here it is, the Suhr SL68. So I think a lot of people wonder if you can get a true clean sound out of an amp like this, and this amp has a beautiful clean sound. I've got the volume set at just under 2 on the treble channel, and with this Les Paul special in the middle position on the pickup switch, it sounds like this. Alright, I'm calling this section of the video Clean to Mean because I want to show you what the amp sounds like between about 3 and 6 on the treble channel. And for this first part, I'm also going to show you what the amp sounds like with the channels jumpered. Okay, on these old style plexi amps, you can plug into the high treble input as your main input, and then with a little patch cable, you plug from the lower treble jack into the other channel of the amp, the bass channel. Okay, and by plugging that in, you can now blend in volume 2 or the bass channel volume, and fatten up your tone a bit if you want to. So without, I'm just going to pull the patch cable here for a second. Without engaging that, I've got the treble channel about 3 right now. This is my tone. Okay, plugging in the jumper cable. Things fatten up, and you do lose a little bit of gain going into the treble channel by doing that, but with the added benefit of you know, engaging the bass channel and getting some more fat. So it just depends what you want. If I turn the volume up and down on the bass channel, you'll hear the effect of mixing it. Okay, so I like it right about there, right about 2, just for a little bit of subtle kind of fatness enhancing. Okay, so on the bridge pickup with the amp on about 3. It's essentially a clean sound. Bring the amp up to about 5, and now you're getting into rock and roll territory. Okay, so the beautiful thing about this is now you can roll your volume down to say about 7, and you get a sound very clean and similar to when the amp was on 3 or so. Right, bring it back up. Okay, let's bring the amp up to 6 or so. Okay, so now you're in a real rock and roll territory, and you can hit this with fuzz or boosts or whatever you want, and the sky's the limit. It's like a great clean palette, you know, with a bit of grind, and it's super sensitive to whatever you put into it. So your own playing input, whatever picks you use, what the pickups are in your guitar, if you play a Strat style or Les Paul style or high output style guitar. With the amp on 6, it sounds, you know, like a completely different guitar sound as soon as you switch up guitars. So I'm going to show you what it sounds like now with some other instruments at about 6 on the treble channel. In this clip I've got the volume on the neck pickup of the CVH custom guitar rolled down to about 6, so I'll start with that and then I'll hit the bridge pickup. Okay, so if you got a guitar that rolls down well, there's nothing like an amp like this to play through, because it'll just respond so great. You can get it totally clean, basically, and then have, like, you know, rip-roaring rhythm, almost lead tone, and then just hit it with a pedal if you need more for your over-the-top stuff. Alright, let's check out the Variac Switch. So I am in full 120 volt mode right now, as I have been for the whole video. I'm just going to play a little bit and you can hear what that sounds like. Okay, so to go into Variac mode, I simply turn off the standby switch and then flip the power switch to the up position. The pilot light will get a little bit dimmer because now we've gone into 90 volt mode and there's a little less voltage going to the whole amp. You kick the standby back on after the amp kind of takes a second to do its thing and rebias. Okay, and now it sounds like this. Okay, so that's a pretty good demonstration of what a Variac does to your tone right on the fly. It's really cool how John's been able to incorporate it into the amp and have it properly rebias. I think it's a great feature. I love playing with it. It softens the amp a little bit. It's a little less loud, and it also feels a little different on the finger. So you just have to try it to know what it sounds and feels like. But I think it's a great feature, and I actually use it in Variac mode most of the time. Alright, so there it is, 12 series plexi circuit basically in this amp, and you know, it's a pretty straight up Parsicaster guitar with a super distortion in the bridge, and you know, there's gain and sustain for days. The whole thing is, I'm not even in the same room with the cabinet. I need to have the cabinet isolated because if the cabinet was within 20 feet of me,
this pickup is not potted.
And it screams, wails like a banshee. So I gotta get the pickup potted if I even want to be in the same room with this amp and a speaker cabinet. But anyways. Okay, this guitar's got a Suhr SSV pickup in it, which is like a lower output PAF style pickup. And one of the beautiful things about these amps is that you're still going to hear the differences in things like pickups and what pick you use and every little nuance you put into it. They're this organic, living, breathing thing, you know, a cranked up non-master volume amp. It's really cool. So this pickup sounds, to me, it's still bright and clear, but it's warmer and a little more organic or something than the super distortion pickup, which to me is real bright and scooped and distorted. So it's such a warm, I mean, it's like, it's kind of an enigma, this guitar sound, because it's like, it's bright and it's brash and it's cutting, but at the same time, it's warm and organic and almost clean. And I think that's the thing that we all like about it so much. You know, and the other thing is people always think, well, what am I gonna do if I have that sound, you know? Well, write your own songs with it, you know, because it's just a great guitar sound. Turning a Plexi on 10 is a fantastic tone, you know? And it inspired me to write Perplex, for example, which you heard at the beginning of this video, so. You know, that's basically, you know, the same, it's the same tone I used on the record, essentially, on my own album. And it's just a fantastic tone, so don't be afraid to turn a SL68 or similar 12 series circuit type amp on 10 and go for it and write your own stuff, because it's an inspiring, awesome sound to play with, and I wish more people did it these days.